Okay, what's up guys? I'm filming a little bit of a different video today. I'm gonna do a car check actually. I'll tell you guys what I've done to this car, all that good stuff. So I'm gonna start off the video with some driving POV actually. I've seen some homies do some sick videos driving POV, so I thought I'd try it myself. Got a bit of a funny setup going on, a hat with a GoPro duct taped to my face. I'll show you guys the setup once we get to the spot, but I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start driving. I'll tell you guys a little bit of the story of how I got this car, and then after that I think I'll go right into just some straight driving POV, and then I'll show you guys everything once we get to the spot. I don't know how well you guys are gonna be able to hear me because this car is kind of loud on the inside with my tire setup and the fact that I have some stiff bushings all around. So I'll drive pretty slow while I talk, and then I'll get to ripping it later. So I think I got this car, let's see, probably two years ago. The guy posted the ad on Craigslist for 30 minutes and I already hit the dude up, and there's a family that was looking at it before me. They looked at it, and surprisingly they didn't pick up the car. So I was able to come in and I was able to swoop this car. And the whole reason the guy actually wanted to sell it is because he did a whole bunch of maintenance on the car, replaced the dash, did everything you could do to make it nice and stock again. And then the dash cracked. I don't know if you guys can tell right here. The dash cracked the next day, and the dude was so fed up that he sold the car. He's like, I'm done. I've done all this work and it's just gonna do this to me. I'm done with the car. And that's when I scooped it up, and I picked this car up for $6 grand. So if you guys know the E30 market, you know that is a really good price for what this car is. I picked it up with 187,000 miles. I'm actually sitting at 205.84 right now because I've driven this car quite a bit. So yeah, this car definitely does not drive stock anymore considering all the suspension that I've done to it, but still a good little car. I've had an I've had an E46 M3 and an E36 328i, and it's really hard to beat this car. There's just no other like driving experience like this. It literally is a go-kart for the street. So I think I'm gonna get right into just driving, give you guys some good POV. And then once we get to the spot, I'll break down everything that I've done to this car. This is definitely not the most ideal road. I like driving on 9 because this road's a little bumpy, but it's the best I can get for right now. Little stop sign action over here. You know what they say, no cop, no stop, baby. I don't know if you guys can hear, but I'm rubbing a little bit in the front. So hopefully I'm not doing too much damage. to see with a camera right in between my eyes. Definitely should have downshifted there. Oh, camera's bouncing all over my face. This is definitely not the most stable setup I've ever done. Oh, go this way. Oh God, bouncing all over. Okay, now we're almost to the spot. I'm gonna cut it here and we'll catch up when we get to the spot. Okay guys, so we made it to the spot. I'll show you guys really quick. It's a nice little area back here. Pretty secluded, cute little bridge. It's pretty dope. I actually like to take a bunch of photos here just because it's so nice. There's a really good spot down that way actually that has a big like tree lineup. I'll probably get some just cinematic stuff of the car down there while I'm talking about it. So yeah, first off, let me show you guys my funny ass GoPro setup that I had for that POV. Got my BMW M Motorsport hat duct taped with a GoPro. It worked, so I can't complain, but it was smacking me in the face a little bit as I was driving, so that was interesting. But no more dilly-dallying, let's get right into what this video is. Talking about my 1987 325 IS. So this car is a 325 IS, so it's got the 2.5 inline six, cranks out 167 horsepower, so she doesn't have a lot of pep, I will admit, a little slow, but it does the trick. And then this is the IS, so it's the little like sporty version. There's not a lot that the IS does, it's just different bumpers and stuff, but yeah, that's about it. Let's get right into the mods. So I bought this car completely stock. So everything on this car that I've touched and it's not stock, I've done. So first off, we have the Frenchies, which are those yellow little lights there. All I did is wrap that with some yellow tint, and it worked just fine. And I think it looks a lot better than clear, especially with the red. With the red, it looks really good. Next up, we have my clear turn signals, I guess you could say. I originally had them black, but of course, when you're turning and they're black, you can't see it, so I had to change it to clear. Next up, we got these hella covers. I don't know if you guys can tell. Well, you definitely can tell, but right here, my bumper is pretty messed up. That's because I hit something on the freeway, and it cracked that fog light. So what I ended up doing is buying these hella covers, and I think it actually looks really good. I like it with the hella covers more than I like it without the covers. So I guess it all works out in the end. Next up, we're gonna go to my wheels. Right here, I got some 17x8 Apex 4-lug. They're the Apex Arc 8s, paired with some Falcon Azenis RT 660 tires. Up front, I'm running a 215/40/17. In the rear, let's see, I'm running a 225/45/17. Yeah, so a little bit thicker in the rear. This is where I've been rubbing, if you guys can see that right there. And then up front, actually, I have RX-7 front calipers. So these are from a FC RX-7, and basically all you need to do is Garagistic has these little like kits that there's a what is it, like just a little plate that you bolt on to the back, and then you fit these rotors on, and then you can fit the calipers on, and they're 4-piston instead of 1-piston, because E30s unfortunately only came with 1-piston brakes. Some of the early models didn't even come with, actually they came with drum brakes in the rear. So that just goes to show the brakes on these cars, not the best in the world. Then if we're talking about up front, I've got a Suspension Technique sway bars. Then I've also got BC coilovers, but they're the DS series. So they've got the better, they're like the track version, you could say. And they work really, really well. Let's see, moving on, we've got, let's go to the rear. So unfortunately, you can't fit the FC RX-7 rear calipers, so I just have the stock E30 ones that do just fine, but I got some drilled and slotted rotors, if you guys can see in there, just to make it a little bit better. And if we're walking around, I don't have any side skirts yet. I have side skirts coming in the mail, so maybe I'll make a little video showing that off. Going around, you can see the back. I got my little Garage Welt license cover. I really want to get a rear valance, because from the back, if I gotta be honest, kind of looks like a bumper car. And I think the valance would clean it up a little bit. I thought about bumper swapping the car, but the only issue with bumper swapping the car is it's a pain in the ass. It really, if you guys know anything about E30s, it's a nightmare to try to do a bumper swap on these early model cars, because the early model cars have different bumpers than the late model cars. Same thing, I got a Suspension Technique sway bar in the rear. Then on my rear subframe, you guys can't see it, but on the rear subframe, I actually, when you lower these cars, they get a ton of rear camber. So I had to drop my whole rear subframe, and I welded in these adjustable brackets. So now I can fully adjust my toe and camber in the rear, which I was not able to do before. So that's really, really nice. And I reinforced everything in the rear. So it's pretty sturdy now. Let's see, what else can I talk about in the rear? If we're talking about exhaust setup, I have some long tube headers that I'll show you when I pop the hood. Straight pipe all the way back to, I can't remember the brand of the muffler, but it's a pretty decent muffler. It sounds pretty good. So I think I'm gonna pop the hood. Actually, I'll show you guys the interior first. I'll show you the interior, I'll pop the hood, I'll give you some sound clips so you guys can hear, and then we'll do some other stuff maybe. I don't know, I'll figure it out. I'm kind of winging this right now. So let's pop in the interior really quick. So I got black interior, so it's the IS, so I have sport seats, which is nice. That seat has been reupholstered, so it's all nice and clean. This one hasn't. I'm gonna reupholster it soon, just to match that. Then we got my lovely Renown wheel. I love this thing so much. And then I just got a little NRG quick release. And then here, this is probably my favorite part about the car that everyone is so mesmerized about, I should say, is I just made this today, actually. This is just a little Alcantara cover plate to match my Alcantara steering wheel. But here is my IRP chassis mounted shifter. So this thing is pretty mental. When you shift, that's first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and then reverse is over there. So as you guys can see, the throw is pretty small, and this thing just looks sick in here. Like, it looks like a race car. But other than that, like, I have a little dash mat because, of course, dash is a little cracked, just E30 things. But other than that, there's not really anything else I've done to the interior. I really want to get some bucket seats for this thing because I think buckets would look really, really cool. Some nice Recaros would look crazy in this car, but that's $3 grand for a pair of seats, which I don't know if I want to spend $3 grand on a pair of seats yet. And here we are popping the hood. And that's my little M20. So I just have this little front strut brace. It doesn't really do a whole lot, kind of just looks cool. Then I have my KA Motors carbon fiber intake. And then as you can see, you got the BCs right here. But other than that, if we're talking power, I have a OG Dynon chip, and then that intake, and then over here I have my long tube headers. You guys can see, yeah. So I just put those headers in recently, and I really, really like them. So I'm now fully catless, which I don't really know if it's necessary in this car because I'm not making a whole lot of power, but it's still fun. It's cool anyways. So it sounds really good with these headers. Before I did the headers, I actually had the exhaust chopped off from the Cat, and I ran it just like that for a little bit. And I'll probably insert a clip of my car shooting flames, but it was really, really cool. Just like ridiculously loud. So I think next up, I haven't talked about bushings. So bushings, I have poly subframe, front and rear, and then I have Delrin trans and motor mounts. Is there any other bushings? Oh, no, I don't think so actually. Basically every bushing in the car is poly or Delrin. So I think I've actually talked about, oh, let me show you guys in the rear. I used to have a Garagistic X brace, but unfortunately, because I put these long tube headers in, they sit too low. So I'm not able to run that X brace without some modification. And then in the back, I don't know if you guys are gonna be able to see that. I got another little thing in there, another little brace that holds my power steering fluid, because I have a power steering fluid leak right now, really, really well. It's the little IS spoiler right there. But I think now, since you guys talked about basically everything in this car, other than, you know, I got these little BMW valve stem caps, because cool detail, cool little detail. I think I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a sound clip so you can hear this, and then I think that's about it. There's not much else to talk about this car. It's a cool little car. I really, really like it. So yeah, let's do that sound clip. So yeah, in my opinion, it sounds pretty good. I think I'm gonna cut to some little cinematic clips, and then I think that's gonna wrap it up for this video. So I hope you guys enjoy.
Just a humble bounty hunter, man.
I guess you wonder where I've been, Where are you? I searched the...
Okay guys, I think that's gonna wrap up today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about my little E30. I'll catch you guys later.